Hello, my name is Hunter Brown. I am a junior in mechanical engineering, and I'm also pursuing a minor in sales engineering. Today for my sales technique project, I'm doing a lecture on getting past the gatekeeper. Some things we'll go over is what exactly the gatekeeper is, what their importance is, some creative strategies for getting past them, and what you can do after you get past the gatekeeper and following up with them and going forward with that. So first things first, what exactly is the gatekeeper? So they're going to be the person responsible for making sure that the decision maker isn't bothered by people like us, the salespeople. They're going to be charged with deflecting people through voice calls as well as in-person interactions and making sure that they aren't bothering the salesperson or annoying them with different sales calls or anything like that. So their main job is to stop us from getting to them if we're not important enough. That's why it's really important to make yourself seem important, make your product seem important, as well as just that you really care about making a difference for them and for their company and taking a personal interest in their lives. So typical gatekeeper roles, don't worry, they don't always look like the mean old lady at their secretary desk. A lot of times they're very nice, they're very welcoming. They're the first face you see when you walk into an office, so they are hired to kind of be nice and be welcoming. But at the same time, they do not necessarily want to just let you through and let you talk to the decision maker right away. You have to prove yourself to them first. That's why, and they are usually the personal assistant, secretary, receptionist, someone like that, where they're going to be the first person you see. They're going to be the one that answers the phone first. Someone like that who's going to deflect those calls and decide where they go. So here's some tips for getting past the gatekeeper and why exactly they're important. You want to treat them like gold. They are not the decision maker, but they're possibly a decision maker in the fact that they determine whether or not you even have an opportunity to make your sale or not. So they're going to be a lot of times the decision maker has tasked them with letting only certain people through, and so the decision maker knows that if you pass that first test, if you made it past the gatekeeper, that you've already kind of passed the first test, and you're more likely to have more influence in your sale. That's why they have such great influence in there. How do you treat them like gold? You want to be really kind to them, and you want to take an interest in what they're interested in. Find out if they have kids, find out what they like to do for fun, things like that. Just like you would normally treat a customer, you want to treat the gatekeeper in that same exact way. You want to treat the gatekeeper with love and show them that you care about them. So one of the main things you can do is to remember their name. So make sure that you repeat it back to them, you take the same exact precautions that you would with a customer, and knowing that you are confident that you know who they are, you know what they're about, you've built rapport with them by talking about your company as well as your personal life, you've done things that are going to show them that you care and that you're ready to make this sale and that you're going to do what's best for their business. The gatekeeper is always going to be your friend. Even if they look like that mean old lady on the last slide, they're going to be your friend. They're going to be who you want to talk to, your main point of contact between you until you can build up enough of a relationship with your customer that you get directed to them automatically. So here's some ways you can get creative. One thing is to use a personal touch. Maybe that's a handwritten letter. A lot of times these are going out of style nowadays with the younger generation and us being so used to texting or emailing, whatever it may be. But take the time to write that letter. Show that you care more about them, to go out, buy the supplies, take the time to send it in the mail, things like that, where it's going to show that you truly do care enough to not just send out a generic email to all your customers and they're going to see right through that. One thing you can do too is to make that letter personalized, so make sure you mention maybe an interaction you had with them, maybe something about their company, things like that that's going to show that you didn't just send this out to everybody. One other thing is gifts. So some people there's a fight on whether or not this is ethical or not, but a lot of times if you're just given a simple gift just to kind of get through the door, that's not unethical, and that's something that you can just show that you can go out of the way, maybe even make a little monetary purchase of like pens or whatever, a gift basket, whatever it may be, and show them that you truly do care, because that's going to get them to show that you care enough to buy them something and show that you care about them that way, that they're going to want to let you talk to the decision maker. One really creative example is in the movie Wall Street, where Charlie Sheen, who plays Bud Fox, he actually calls that office 59 days in a row, always trying to talk to the person, always getting no for an answer, until finally it's his birthday, and he brings him some Cuban cigars for his birthday, as well as a gift for the receptionist in order to get past her to begin with. That just showed that he cared, allowed him to get through there and start doing business with him. Next tip is persistence is greater than resistance. So just remember that every no is just another step towards hearing a yes. So you can definitely take no for an answer. If they tell you no, don't just force your way through and say, no, I'm staying here until I talk to them. That's not necessarily the best strategy, even though that would probably show that you care a little bit too much. That's going to show that you're also probably creepy. So take no for an answer, but don't let it be the end there. Make sure that you follow up, whether that's in the next few weeks, next month, whatever that looks like, and make sure that you follow up with them so that way they know that you care enough to make that gesture towards them. A lot of times the gatekeeper is told to say no right away, no matter what it is, because they're going to filter out people right away by seeing who's willing enough to come back and try again. And that's going to show them that you care enough to make that sale, and that's going to help you with your rapport right there. Another thing is to use multiple creative strategies. I talked about the written letter. Say the written letter doesn't work the first time, send them a gift the next time. Maybe send them another written letter. Use multiple different strategies. That's going to help you to really show that you care and really show that you're trying your best in order to get in front of them, and that's going to make the difference between you making that sale or not. The next tip is going to be to follow up with them. So, excuse me. So make sure that just like you would follow up with the customer and see how they're doing, both with the product as well as a personal touch, you're going to want to do the same thing with the receptionist. So take the time to catch up. Whenever you go in the office, take the extra 2 to 3 minutes to sit there at the desk and talk to them before you go in and talk to your main customer. You want to show that you really care about them, that you're taking an interest in their personal life, and that you're going to be the one there for them. Next time you call on the phone to talk to your customer, if you had a really good time last time talking to them, if you found something in common, make sure you bring that up in the phone conversation and are willing to talk about it for a little bit extra time. That's going to show that you care about them. That's going to help you get past them later on. Finally, make sure that you are planned. So always have a plan in mind, but definitely do not script it. So every time you go into an office, you should not be saying the exact same 10 words to start out the conversation with. You should have everything different depending on maybe if it's an elderly lady at the desk versus a younger lady at the desk, whether it's a man at the desk or a lady at the desk. Things like that where you have different strategies prepared for different people, so that way you're more likely to get past them. It should not be the same every time, and you should also have a plan for your key objections. So if one objection that you always hear is, oh, they're too busy, they don't have time for this, then maybe you should prepare yourself a short 5-minute presentation that's going to allow you to explain what your product is, things like that, where if you can tell the gatekeeper, I promise this will only take 5 minutes, and it actually does, then you're going to build up a lot of rapport with them right there and show that you just wanted to get in front of the customer, explain what your product's about, give them contact info to talk to you about it, and let them know that you're going to be back again to follow up with a longer presentation if they're interested. That's going to be really important going forward. So have a plan ready for those key objections, but again, do not make it scripted, and make sure that you have a dialogue rather than just a script that you're reading, because they're going to see right through that. They're going to see that you don't necessarily care about their company specifically. You're just trying to make a sale, and that should not be the case. Next thing is always be ready to improvise. So every sales call is not going to be the same, and we know that from all the things that we've learned about talking to our customer. It's the same way with the gatekeeper. Sometimes you might be let in right away with hardly ever a question, just what company are you from and how long it's going to take, something along those lines. But other times it's going to be a lot more difficult, and you're going to hear a lot of no's. So just be ready to improvise on all those things. Again, have your handling objections ready for those key things, but be ready for really any questions that you're going to face from the gatekeeper. Sometimes they're more trusted than you might think, and sometimes they already have questions prepared for what a salesperson might ask already. So they're going to be ready. So things to remember from this presentation and things to jot down so that way you remember going forward next time you're on that sales call. And to recap is the gatekeeper is most likely not the decision maker. This means that they don't care as much about your product and what exactly you're going to do for their company as much as they care about how you are as a person and how you present yourself. So that's going to be their main focus. So do not bore them with giving them the exact presentation that you would give the boss. They don't have the decision-making authority in that, most likely, and they don't have anything like that, but they're going to be your key to getting through to the next people. Feel free to talk about your product for sure. Let them know how great it is. Let them know what you have to offer, but also make sure you just take the time to get personal with them. Let them know that you did their research both on them and on their company, as well as the customer themselves. Next thing is to treat them like gold. Can't stress this enough. Is just make them feel respected, make them feel that you're a kind person, and go from there. Get creative in your approach. Use those written hand letters, those gifts. Talk to other people in your company. Find out what strategies they've used before. Find out the ways that they've really gotten past the gatekeeper and helped in that, as well as just talking to other people in your field and what you can do to get creative there. The lights went on me, but we'll just keep going here. Next thing is persistence is greater than resistance. Yes, no can be an answer, and you need to be fine with that as a salesperson. You're going to hear no a lot. But don't let that be the end. Make sure that you follow up with them constantly. Make sure that within the next week you have another phone call with them scheduled, and you can do something where you're going to let them know that you care. Finally, follow up with them. That goes with the persistence thing. Make sure that you take an interest in them specifically. Make sure next time you go in the office, talk to the receptionists themselves before you talk to the customer. Take the extra 3 minutes to get to know them. You want them to be your friend. You want them to be where as soon as you go in the office, they just write you a visitor pass without you really having to say anything. So that way you have that kind of relationship with them. Finally, plan but don't script. Be ready for anything. Be ready to improvise, but always have what you should say for key objections ready, but never let it sound scripted. Make it a dialogue, make it a conversation. That's going to show that you really care. For this presentation, I did use 2 sources. That movie Wall Street, where I got the idea for calling multiple days, as well as a Forbes article about 7 strategies for getting past the gatekeeper that you can find online. If you have any questions, let me know. You can email me at hbrown1810@gmail.com, and that's everything. Thank you.